Okay, so
Okay, take one.
hi, Jeff.
Hi.
Thank you for doing this with me.
You're welcome.
So my first question is, what advice would you give to somebody new to making contact with ET?
I would have them research it. There's a lot of research to the whole subject, and part of that might be looking at the testimonies, Dr. Greer's testimonies. That's where I got going. And then there is an app where you can locate other people. So I'm not here to plug Serious Disclosure, right? I'm not affiliated with them. But there's a very useful app, ET Contact app, and also you can contact other people. And you can put yourself on there too, so other people can find you.
Okay, awesome. So do a little research, embolden your understanding and belief that it could happen for you, and then get connected.
Right.
Okay, sounds good.
There's also a book, if I remember right. Somebody wrote a beginner's book, and that would be something worth investigating.
Okay, might put a link for that in the notes below. Okay, so ready for a second question?
Sure.
Okay, what does the average contact night or CE-5 for you look like?
That would, I'd have to document everything in order to find an average, but there's some nights, it's a bit disappointing some nights if nothing happens, but what I found is that it's not necessarily what happens at the site, it's what happens afterwards sometimes. So there are some high strangeness things that can happen. So it's not a total wash if you perceive nothing happening. There's been events where, in fact, I got some pictures where the group is meditating, and I had a new camera, and I just took pictures of the group. It was an hour after sunset, and there was phenomena going on outside the group that nobody else knew. So if the camera didn't pick it up, I wouldn't know either.
Wow.
So you just don't know what's happening, even though you may not perceive it, and especially if you're a new person, things might not happen. On the other hand, I've had people bring friends or family members to for the first time to one of our outings, and the strangest stuff happens. So, people bring their own energy, and you just never know. You just never know what's going to happen. So it's interesting.
Okay.
But there's nothing, even in a case like that, there's nothing that is wasted. It's you're spending time in nature. You're spending time underneath the stars. You do meditation. None of that's a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
That's so much more worthwhile than sitting on your phone or on the internet.
That's so true. Yeah. Building group coherence.
Right.
Yeah.
Meet new people.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds.
Yeah, a very diverse group. That's something interesting about CE-5 is that it appeals to a wide range of people.
It does, and what's surprising to me is that it's pretty equally balanced between male and female.
Yep.
That's to me that's amazing. I don't know if anything this bizarre by normal standards that would do that. That would end up like that.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. Okay, third question. So what's your story? What brought you to this? What is the reason that you do this? Are there any standout experiences that you would like to share?
Well, when I was about 5 years old, that's where it all started. It was a beautiful summer day in town. I was outside playing after lunch, and I heard a whirling noise. I couldn't see where it was coming from. I looked in the direction. The view was blocked by a big tree. So I'm waiting for this object, which is up in the air, making this whirling noise, waiting for it to clear the tree so I could see it. So it does. I see it. It's a silver object that's cigar tube shaped, about the length of a car and maybe half a meter to 2 feet in diameter. No wings, no tail, no propeller. It was just basically a silver giant cigar tube flying through the air, making a whirling noise.
Wow.
So I watched it go by. It went right over town at, between 1,000 and 500 feet high. And it was moving, I estimated, from memory, at 80 miles an hour or so. So it wasn't really zooming around. Me and my brother were into Superman back in those days, and I didn't know what to tell anybody. And when I went in the house, of course, nobody's interested. But I told my brother Superman just flew over. So that was the beginning. And I had an interest in flying things anyway. I mean, I developed that too. I'm not attributing that to this. But our interview is going to be disrupted.
That's okay.
Okay.
My interviews are super casual.
Okay.
So they might just walk through.
So that was the beginning. I got into aviation, flying model airplanes and things, and then I decided that I would. I started building them bigger and bigger, and then I ended up going full size, and then so I became a pilot.
Yep.
And
hey guys, just go through.
Are you?
Yep. Welcome to the interview. You can just go through though, unless you want a spotlight.
Excuse us. Sorry.
That's okay. Okay, so you had an interest in flying things.
Yeah. So, like I said, I started building airplanes, and now I'm a pilot. I've been a pilot for many years, but no, I haven't seen anything when I'm piloting myself. Usually, you're pretty busy, and I don't fly at night either. So, but that's where it started. That's where my interest was. I love science fiction. I loved watching Voyage at the Bottom of the Sea. Back years ago, they had a flying sub that would fly out of the water. Where did they ever get that concept?
Wow, yeah, USO.
Yeah. So, I draw them, and like I said, I built airplanes. Nobody's come up with a flying saucer kit yet. So, had somebody done that, I'd build one of those too. But I'm not in that elite group where they actually do that in the military contractors and things. So, but I digress.
So we know what your average kind of CE-5 sort of looks like, right? Like going out under the stars with a group of people. Are there a few things that may have happened that really stood out?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that happen.
You've got a list.
Yeah. I've been on a couple expeditions with Dr. Greer, so we've had some amazing things happen there. Maybe we can leave the links to that in here,
okay,
because I have some YouTube videos
yes,
on
that's
that.
right. Yes, awesome. Okay, yeah, we'll put the links in.
But on my own, actually, I do have a video on that too. But the things I use, I follow Dr. Greer's protocols. There's people that don't do that; they do their own thing, and that's fine. But if you have a group of people, you want them, you want everybody to get on the same plane, having the same intentions, and that's all part of learning, not to be afraid. Of course, you're not going to know what's going to scare you until you run into it, but, with time, and when you're with a group, it really tempers fear. So I've never run into anything that, to get into the religious stuff and all that. I've never run into anything that was evil and scary. I mean, things that are wild, but, I've never been threatened or had anything negative happen, ever. And I've been doing it since, for about 4 years.
Yeah,
so.
That's a concern. That's a pretty big concern.
Yeah, especially
right,
new people. And there's a lot of people that don't get into this, that have their opinions of it. You have to, if you go into something like this, you want to have an open mind. You want to have like a scientific mind. You have to be objective. There's a lot of things that happen that can be twisted any way you want. So, but some of the remarkable things are, one in particular was one of the more recent ones was where there's just 3 of us out. And this, everybody's seen meteors and how they streak across the sky, and maybe close up some more spectacular ones with all kinds of sparks, and it's got a huge tail and it just lasts for a second or two. They're beautiful. But we had this strange one that it wasn't a meteor because it was only about a mile away. And it was like watching one slow motion if you were next to one.
Whoa.
So I could actually see particles breaking off the face of it and going into the tail.
Wow.
So it was pretty wild, and like the guy next to me said, he says that was for us, and it was. Now I don't know if that was some sort of holographic projection, and the interesting thing too about that was it was just beautiful, reddish orange, and it was low to the ground, maybe at the most mile away, a couple hundred feet off the ground. It didn't arc into the ground; it just flew straight. I had a camera in my hand the whole time, a video camera. I didn't think about using it until it started fading out, and then I thought, hey, I should probably see if I can get this.
Yeah.
So I bring the camera up, and I was surprised that the camera was right on it. There was no boot up time, but I had it on wide angle, so I didn't get a good shot of it. It only lasted 2 seconds, and then it turned away. So that's what I find, and this is what's a little weird sometimes, that if you're trying to photograph stuff, it takes about a second for the subject to realize that, just a second, and then they fade out.
Like, nope.
This one was already fading out, but it made a left-hand turn, to get out of the way. So I don't know why else it would make a left-hand turn. I mean, fireballs don't usually not lose altitude. I mean, they don't hold altitude, and they don't make a right angle turn.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what that was. But that's one of the latest ones. I've had other ones. We actually had lights lift off out of a marsh, and it lifted off. It was about 40 feet high. I can't tell for sure the size. I would guess, because it had 3 lights and they're so bright it kind of looked like one light, but I would guess it's 30 feet in diameter. Went up 40 feet, and then it started moving towards us. It was only a quarter mile away. So when it got about halfway, it was about 60 feet high, and it stopped. It stopped 500 feet away, 60 feet above the ground, and then it went right back where it came from.
Wow.
So my buddy, who was ahead of me, about 10 feet ahead of me on the path, he says, "Here one comes." He turned around and looked at me. I says, "I see it." So, yeah. So, there was a third person with us that was new.
Yep.
And
Here, we have some bicycles coming in. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, are you?
Good. Hi. This is what you get when you do an interview on a path in the woods.
In the woods.
Sorry, where were you?
So the third person that was with us was well versed in phenomenon, other things, not so much CE-5 things, extraterrestrial related things. And we found out the next day that when it lifted off, that was exciting, and then when it started coming towards us, she freaked. She didn't scream or anything at the time, but she told us the next day, that's it. She's not doing this no more.
Wow.
And that was it. She just doesn't want to do that. I mean, she'll do all kinds of other phenomenal things, but not that. So.
Yeah. That really points to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hi, Jeannie.
Oh, hello.
Hi. We're having a bit of a party interview.
I guess.
That's a nice spot.
It is
Yeah.
good.
Very nice.
See you later.
Yeah, see you later.
What were we saying?
Some of the things that happened here, yeah.
So how interesting that that's how connected they are to us. So is it our feelings are so obvious to them, or are they that intimately connected with us that they know how we feel?
I think they know exactly. They pick that up, I think, from long distances. They know what's in our. That's why I say everybody has to have the same intentions. A loving intent towards them, Um, you know, everybody's going to react differently, but like I say, having a group helps temper the fear. But you know, having a face-to-face contact, I haven't had that, a close-up contact, at least with one that I could see.
Yes. Yeah. That you knew about.
Right. I've had some other close contacts where I felt, I felt their energy, put it that way, close by. So, but you know, I don't know. Nobody knows how. You know, I have heard from people that say they just look so different, and there's many different species. So who knows? You know, if you're face to face with something that looks like a praying mantis that's 7 feet tall, that would be very unusual.
It would be unusual.
And
that would be different.
So by that point, I would hope there'd be a telepathic connection.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Did you want to finish off with just a quick why is this an interest for you? Do you understand the meaning that it has for you in your life?
Like I say, I was always interested in science fiction. This is more science fact, you know. It's been something that's been kept withheld from us, all this information. There are people that know a lot about the subject. I'm not a great book reader, and you know, I was always disappointed with all the documentaries in the past, and even currently, for the most part. Not all, but the ones that try to hide the truth are pathetic, in my view.
Mm-hmm.
So the interest is, I mean, who can't be interested? There's structures on other planets, you know. NASA has pictures of structures on other planets. They cover up most of it. Why wouldn't you be interested in the real history that you know, all that information suppressed? I think that's incredibly interesting. That there may be other things like pyramids and structures on other planets from way back when there even are pyramids. You know, what's the truth behind all that?
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, part of it's just the natural desire to know the truth. And, you know, I feel like our birthright's really been taken away from us. So, and this is fun, you know, it's fun. I mean, who doesn't like, you know, I know the movement has always been to focus on consciousness. That's the most important thing. But who doesn't like a nuts and bolts sighting? You know,
totally.
I mean,
so
what
exciting.
grabs people? What grabs new people? You hear so many people. Well, I thought I saw something, and that's what's so different about these sightings is that they leave you an out. You know, the one that we saw, the one that craft that flew up. The only thing you noticed was a visual reference. I mean, there was no sound. There was no wind displacement. You know. No noise. And you could easily say, did I just see that? And discount it.
And that's a great way to put it, that it leaves you an out.
Yeah. And I find that all the time. And they sometimes, they might take another form, you know, like an aircraft. We've seen that happen. I've seen things that look like Chinese lanterns that aren't blowing with the wind. You know, they missed that one. They don't always get it right. You know, even with airplanes, they might have the nav lights on the wrong wing, or you know, which just doesn't happen in the real world.
Yeah.
Not with the FAA and all that.
But that wouldn't be a mistake. Wouldn't that be something to be like pique your interest?
That could be. That might be done purposely. But how many people know the correct
How do they know
layout
starboard and port?
of nav lights?
Yeah.
You know. So very few.
Yeah.
I had one guy contact me over that, and he had me.
Oh, that's neat.
He because he knew I was a pilot and he knew I was in this. He says you gotta. He showed me what he can do, and it was amazing. And sure enough, one of them appeared that had the wrong. You know, the red nav lights always on the left. Well, this one was on the right. You know, and there was none on the left. So that doesn't happen in the aviation world.
E.T. are funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that could be. You know, who knows? That was just the beginning of stuff he was showing me. You know, so you know, some people are pretty connected. they can manifest things that, you know, in Dr. Greer's one.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Not many people like that, but
Right.
wow, when you hear stories from people like that,
Yeah. Some of the things I've seen, I
mind-blowing.
never thought I'd ever see.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah.
Bottom line, you know,
It is.
It's enjoyable.
It is fun. Awesome.
Mhm.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome.
I'm going to put the links to your videos in the notes below. Any last thoughts or comments?
We're in beautiful New
We
Zealand.
are in beautiful New Zealand. It's fantastic.
I flew halfway around the world, and you,
Yes?
to come to New Zealand, get out of the northern, you know, North America continent, get out of that crappy weather up north. So, yeah, it's beautiful.
Yep, it is. This is a special place for sure.
So who would do that for? Who would do that to get closer to ET? You know,
Yeah.
but we do.
Yep, it's true. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. I have no idea how to end interviews, by the way.
Ken Burns, right? When you edit them.
What's that?
The Ken Burns thing, where it just slowly fades up.
Okay, that's what we'll do. We'll fade it.
Jeff is a really skilled photographer, and if you'd like to check out some of his footage of some energies and other phenomena, you can watch these 2 videos here. As well, if you want to read an account of one of his experiences, which is published in Grant Cameron's book UFOs and Encounters with the Non-Ordinary at Mount Shasta, you can check out the link in the description.